Welcome to the Black Girls Heal podcast, where we talk about changing unavailable relationship patterns, healing unresolved trauma, and building a healthy relationship with first you and then others. Every episode, we will talk about actionable advice that you can apply today to break unhealthy patterns and grow your self-worth. I'm Shena Tubbs. Let's begin. Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Black Girls Heal. So this is another episode that is inspired by life and all of the things that it brings you, and sharing the lessons that I have learned and that I think are really applicable across the board in hopes of helping you live your best life as well. And so today's episode is all about 3 things to keep in mind whenever you make a mistake. Especially this is going to be helpful for those of you who may battle a lot of shame, who battle a lot of perfectionism, and kind of get stuck in your head when you are less than perfect, aka human. This episode is sponsored by the Healed and Loved Woman, which is my newest heart project, which is a 12-month healing mentorship experience where I am walking you through how to overcome and heal from the roots of low self-worth, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, having poor boundaries, to fully love yourself unapologetically. We're taking a whole year for you to truly focus on you, to actually have the space to make mistakes, to take your time, to ask questions, to try, to take a break, to come back to it whenever you get stuck, to apply it to things that are going on in your family. That's one of the main things that makes this program different than our signature program, Learn to Thrive, because we are really going to be looking at our family stuff and working through that, and no longer being as anxious, hopefully, or as resistant whenever it comes to building relationships with family members in case we have an unhealthy relationship. To be able to hold our own and not shrinking back when we are in certain places, and not getting really big and bold and aggressive if that's some other defense mechanisms that we have, that we are able to basically just be truly ourselves, to learn how to take care of ourselves, to learn how to not be codependent, to learn how to fully prioritize us. It is going to be as wonderful as I'm making it sound. And so if you're listening to this real time, the day that this podcast episode comes out on December 3rd, the doors are open. Today, the doors are open. They should be opening around midday, maybe a little bit earlier. You will be getting an email, which is ironic that I say that based on the content of the episode, but you'll see why in a second. And if you're listening to this past this time, past December 3rd, you can go to thehealedandlovedwoman.com, see if the doors are open for you to join us, and if not, to add your name to the wait list for the next time that this opportunity comes around, which would be, I guess, a year or so from now. And that's, again, like a lot of my programs, depending on how they do and if I want to keep it going. Learn to Thrive is our signature program for a reason. It will always be here because it does work through relationship issues. It does work through helping us love our full selves and get a life where we are thriving. But the Healed and Loved Woman is really, like I said, taking a deep dive into our family issues and the shame and the things that are underneath a lot of that. So with that said, let me tell you what this episode is about, or let me tell you the inspiration before I give you your 3 things to keep in mind whenever you make a mistake. So today has been a day. A busy day, not a bad day, but just a lot of things going on. And so finished everything I had to do. I'm laying down. I'm looking forward to just kind of relaxing. I'm kind of zoning out, watching TV, clicking around on some stuff because tomorrow doors open, or I guess now it's today. Today doors open for the Healed and Loved Woman. and I'm laying in bed. And around 11 something my time, I should have been asleep by then, but I'm watching The Americans. I'm binging on that show. I start to get multiple notifications on my phone. And the multiple notifications are from me. And I'm like, why am I sending me emails at 11 something at night? And they're all saying things like, welcome to the healed and loved woman. And I'm like, what the, what the heck? Like I said a different word in my head, but I'm like, what is going on? And I have like a major like panic. I'm like, how is my course open? Did someone hack me? Did I accidentally let everybody into the program? Or like, what is going on? Like, I'm just completely frustrated. Not frustrated. I wasn't frustrated at that point, but just like really confused. I'll just say confused. So I go and I look and I'm like, oh no, I think that they have been added to this automation. So let me give you a behind the scenes for those of you who have people that you subscribe to and you get like automated emails. So most of the time, the people who you love and follow, if you're on their newsletters, they are not sending you emails that are just spur of the moment. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they will write a spur of the moment email and send it a couple days later to time it to be sent to you later. So what had happened was for people who were on the wait list, there was a set of emails that were sent to them over time just to help give some self-love and self-help tools leading up to the doors opening. And I have been talking on social media about how in 2020, I'm going into this new year with more help without trying to do everything myself and getting support. So I've expanded my team, and one of my team members who is lovely and does such an amazing job, so this is not a knock on her, but one of her tasks was to add and remove people because doors are opening today. And what she did by accident was to add everybody on my email list to this wait list. So what happened was I was also one of those people, which is why I got the notifications. And so I got all of the emails that were sent to people who first joined the wait list all at once. And so did everybody else on the email list. And so at first, I was filled with a lot of dread and a lot of worry because no one likes getting a whole bunch of emails. I don't like getting a whole bunch of emails. So I just assume other people don't like it as well. And so I'm like, and this is like right before the night, the doors are opening. And I'm like, no one's going to want to buy the Healed and Loved Woman because they're going to think that I am spamming them all the time. And I'm like, oh no about that. And so finally, I'm able to use my tools to use some of the things that I teach other people till I get to a place where I'm like, okay, is this really the worst thing that can happen? So I get to a place of calm. and then the way that if you email me, you will email me at Shena@blackgirlsheal.org. And that's the email address that all of our newsletters go out from. So, but I link it to my Gmail account. And so what happens is it gets forwarded through my blackgirlsheal.org server to my Gmail. So there's always a delay. So if we are ever conversing over email, and it takes me like a while to respond, that's why. It's because I'm sitting right there, but it takes 30 to 45 minutes for it to come to me. So after I'm calm, then I get a flurry of emails from people who are like, and it's a mixture. One person was like, I unsubscribe, please remove, I don't even think she said please, she said remove my email. And then I had some people saying, this is wonderful, thank you so much, Shena. And I'm like, oh my goodness, do they think that they are in this program automatically because and because maybe because they didn't realize because it was like the first email said welcome to the healed and loved woman because they just got added to the wait list. So did they mistake that for meaning that they were part of the program, and now I have to go back and say sorry, you're not in it, you have to invest if you do, which isn't really a sorry because, we should all be investing in ourselves, but still like feeling bad about that. And then some other people who are like, I thought I was already on the wait list. Do I need to do something else? What's going on? And I'm like, oh no, here we go. So now I really do have shame. Now I really do have dread. Now I really do have all the imposter syndrome that, I'm doing really bad at business. I'm getting on people's nerves. I'm taking up too much space. All of those negative core issues, all of those negative core beliefs that came out. So I'm sitting there stuck, not knowing how to use my skills, not wanting to use my skills. And I don't know if there's anyone who can relate to that. You knowing the right and healthy thing for you to do, and you're like, no, I just want to be miserable and I just want to stay here, and like this is kind of what I deserve. I know there's somebody that can relate to that. So kind of a mixture between I don't deserve to feel better, or even if I try to like be there for myself, it's not going to be enough. Again, having a throwback to the old me that was, I just need someone to tell me it's going to be okay. So I need somebody outside of me to come and tell me that Sheena, you're okay, and Sheena, you are good enough. And so by this time it's midnight. My husband is also binge watching TV, but he doesn't know what's going on, and I really don't have the time or again the skills. I'm not using my skills to communicate and ask for support in a healthy way. So I'm just deciding to like wallow in it myself. And so what I do is I stay up and I'm like, I need someone to tell me that it's okay. And luckily, I was going to say unluckily as well, but no, luckily I have enough self-awareness to know that is what I was needing, that I was just like saying, okay, maybe there'll be another email that comes in where someone's like, it's going to be okay. Because I sent a correction email that said, hey, my bad, a team member sent this out. Sorry to clog up your inbox. You won't get any more emails. So I send the email and I'm still, in my shame cycle and waiting. I'm up now, so I turned the Americans back on to kind of drown things out. I closed my computer earlier, but this time I'm like, okay, let me kind of see kind of what the damage is. Let me see how many people have unsubscribed at this late time of night. So it's about 20 people at this point. And so I'm going through the list, and I had already been clearing out my email server thing, because I realized that I had people in my emails who were getting emails that either weren't opening them, that weren't reading them, and just not really actively participating. So I did a search one day and I saw, oh wow, there are some people who really haven't opened anything in over 7 or 8 months, have said, I don't want to get anything, I want to unsubscribe, and somehow they're still there. And I don't know why email service providers do that. So heads up to you. And I think this is also a heads up to me. You know how sometimes you can unsubscribe from something like multiple times and you're still getting emails and you're like, I've already unsubscribed from you. Why are you still emailing? I think there are just some email service providers that, I guess, to make it look like you have more subscribers than you do, because those of us who have newsletters, we pay for every person who is on our email list. So the more people we have, the more these companies can charge us. And so it's a business technique, right? So there aren't people who are like, you're going to get these emails and you're going to buy my product. It's just the name of the game. So you might need to directly reply to the person or the company, even if it's a big company, and say, please delete my email from your database altogether because I don't want any more emails because they're going to keep emailing you. But anyways, I had been already been cleansing, so this wasn't that big of a deal. And so I'm looking to just see like who are these people who I'm actually deleting to make sure they don't get any more emails. And it's people who aren't my people. It's more people who really hadn't been opening anything. And so because I got multiple emails at one time, they're like, forget this, and like delete, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. And so that really helped for me to see that, because I realized one of the things, or one of the lessons that I'm going to tell you when it comes to making mistakes, if you're someone who gets caught in a shame cycle, if you're one of those people who part of making a mistake, what makes it so bad is that public, when it's public, when other people can see it, even when other people can't see it, when there's some anxiety in you about what does this mean to this image that you have of yourself, this reputation that you have of yourself, this belief that you want other people to have in you. And so for you to be flawed, that means that you're not good enough. That means that they're going to reject you. That means that they're going to look down on you. That means that you're going to be ousted and excluded. However that might look for you or sound for you, whatever words fit for you best. If you relate to that, one lesson that I remembered that I had already learned is that I only want people around me that are for me. I only want people around me who love me and expect the best of me. So a normal human being, which is you, every single person is imperfect and we all make mistakes. It's just going to happen. Either we're going to tell a joke that doesn't land well, or we're going to make a mistake and let somebody down, or we're going to be very clumsy and goofy and make a mistake. These are all just part of the human experience. And the people who are for you are going to be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Stuff happens. Those are going to be the people who have grace and are forgiving and are open and loving towards you. I don't want people around me who are critical, who are shaming, who are exclusive, who are belittling, condescending, all of those words, right? All of the synonyms of those words. All of the things that used to be normal for me. Those used to be the challenges, right? Or maybe not right for you. But part of the way that my trauma played out in needing to people please is to make sure that everybody was happy and everybody had a positive view of me. And so, one, it was me learning how to let that go and to have my own boundaries. And then also to think, why would I want to be around people who were like that in the first place? Why do I need those people to like? Why would I want them to like me, right? And so it changed back to what it had been like the days before. Like every time I would like find people who weren't opening emails for like months at a time and has unsubscribed from everything and were like, don't send me any more emails. I was like, yes, purge, cleanse, save me some money, right? Let me talk with the people who are my tribe. Some of you, even if you've never bought anything, you have been with me for like years. You've been responding to emails. You're like, Shena, this email is right on point, or this is exactly what's been going on, and this is how this has helped me. And I love that. I absolutely love that the emails that I do take time to write, even if they are sent 3 or 4 days later from the time that I originally wrote them, that I had each of you in mind, and that you are taking it and using it and applying it to your life. I want people who are open-hearted and loving, because that's the kind of energy I'm trying to give off. And so I want those kind of people who are going to give that type of energy back to me. And so the first thing for you to keep in mind, just as a recap, whenever you make a mistake, is that you only want people around you who are for you and who are going to expect the best of you and lift you up. And after I remembered the other two things I'm going to tell you, I actually got a delayed email from one of these people that was like, after I was like, I'm so sorry I clogged your inbox, because she had emailed me. She was like, yeah, I got like 10 of them. I was like, I'm so sorry I clogged your inbox. She was like, oh, don't worry. It's no big deal. You do really good things. You do really good work. And I'm like, yes. Like, see, that's the kind of energy I need in 2020. Hopefully you have that energy and you have people around you who are those type of people for you. And let me just add something about this too. I want you to notice how it wasn't until I showed up for myself that people showed up and came around and told me the things that I was waiting to hear. So it wasn't until I was able to fully give the love and kindness and acceptance and not really need it anymore, because I was already full of it on my own. I was already my own hero of my own story and my greatest gift, is when it freed space for other people to come and be loving and kind to me as well. Instead of me having this kind of desperate energy around it. And I say that because that's what happens for so many of us. So many of us are waiting for someone to save us. So many of us are waiting for someone to like be the person who says all the right things, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's a romantic partner, but you're looking for something or someone outside of yourself to help you feel better when you are the hero of your story. And if you don't know how to be your own hero, your own heroine of your story, then we need to work together. We need to get this party started for you to be able to have that transformation. Join me in the healed and loved woman to get there. So that's the first thing. The second thing for you to keep in mind, which I've already kind of said, is that everybody makes mistakes. Everybody, every single person. And so there's something called shame binds, and I actually talk about this in the Healed and Loved Woman. Last week I talked about how like we are really going to be working on our emotions and learning how to express and get them under control and find healthy ways to get them out and also regulate them and tolerate distress. But one of the other things that we're going to focus on is shame. We're kind of going to build some foundation and just really focus on that more towards the end of our year together. But with shame binds, one of the ways that you work through that is to just look at how you're talking to yourself. And so I simply had to remind myself to kind of cancel out the shame that everybody makes mistakes, because there was a certain core belief that was around that I needed to diffuse. So I went through all the things I need to get through. And then I just said, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. And I did it in a way that wasn't just like a repressing or suppressing. I always forget those words, y'all. So I'm just going to always say them twice. Which one is the right word to use in this context? But instead of me suppressing my feelings and pushing them down and just kind of gritting my teeth and bearing it and using everybody makes mistakes as like this nasty, dirty Band-Aid around it, it really was truly me turning inward towards myself, looking at myself, being that person that I needed to be for me and telling me, hey, Shena, everybody makes mistakes. So I want to tell that to you too, you perfectionists out there, you who don't allow yourself to be imperfect, or your imperfection needs to look some kind of way but still be shiny on the outside. Everybody makes mistakes, okay? And so you are good enough. The third thing for you to keep in mind for anyone who struggles a lot whenever you make mistakes and you find it hard is I want you to think about who is the person that you want to be. And Who is this higher level version of yourself? And if she was in front of you right now, what would she tell you about this issue? So this is kind of like, this is pretty similar and related to the last two things that I mentioned about being that person for myself, or turning inward towards myself. But this is a real kind of visualization of like that healthier person, that healthier version of you, that more confident, that more secure, that more whole part of you. What would she say about this situation? Would she be fretting about it? Would she need to turn back on Amazon Prime to watch The Americans and just hope that she just falls asleep eventually? Would she be waiting for someone to tell her that it's okay? Or would she say something different? Would she change the script? Would she ask for support? Would she just say it's not that big of a deal? Whoops. And just roll over and go to sleep. Like what would she do? Right? And so then it would be invoking that part of you, because that part, that person that you're seeing is you, right? And so what healing does is it moves out all the blocks that are in the way that stop you from accessing that next level version of yourself, right? What are those walls? What are those roadblocks? What are those mountains that are in between me and that Shena? And so using those tools, those things that you know to use to get to that other side. So those are things that I'm teaching my folks in the Healed and Loved Woman. But I wanted to give you kind of a breakdown of what it looks like, the outcome of that. And also just some really handy tips, I hope, to help you whenever the perfectionism bug kind of gets in your ear. So that is it for this episode. Another one under 30 minutes. Go Shena. I want to see how many episodes I can get under 30 minutes. Might be a little personal challenge. I would love for you to join me in making 2020 your best year. This is your time. I got a DM from someone the other day that asked, how do my programs help women who are married? And because, you know, a lot of times I talk about scenarios with single women, especially when I'm talking about romantic relationships and dating and things like that. And so if you are someone who is like, I really love what Sheena's saying, but I don't know if like my life stage applies to what she offers. If you battle with any kind of self-doubt, limiting beliefs, struggle with boundaries, unresolved wounds and pains from your family, wanting to learn how to work through codependency, learning how to take care of yourself, love yourself, and truly embody those words of feeling healed and loved, this program is for you. Whether you're 25 or 65, whether you are a professional or a stay-at-home mom, whether you are married, single, long-term partnered, in a polyamorous relationship, whatever it might be, this is for you. So with that said, you can go to thehealedandlovedwoman.com and join me there. And that is it for this episode. I hope you have a great week and take care of yourselves.